Welcome to my channel. DIY mechanic.
Alright, this is a 2006 Volkswagen Passat 1.8 turbo. So this is what I'm doing right now. The oil filter housing cooler. So I'm gonna take it out and then I'm gonna explain to you guys exactly what you're gonna do and what tools you're gonna need. So I'm doing it the way that doesn't require to remove the air intake manifold. So I already removed all the screws, which they're right here, and I'll tell you the size on those once I get this done. But there is the oil cooler right there. Well, part of it. You gotta remove the front part of it, which is that one, in order to get the two back bolts. But let me go ahead and take that off first. Take it out completely, and then I'll show you. Alright, so let me see if I can pull this out with one hand. Bear with me. You might not see what I'm doing, but I will explain everything like I said once I take it out completely. I'm just gonna try to grab it from the bottom. There. Yeah, it's not gonna happen with one hand, but it's already loose. So I'm gonna move it from the bottom here. So I gotta use two hands. To take that out. So let me do that, and I'll tell you what to do. And of course, if you look at the new one, there's a coolant temperature sensor that goes right there, the hole. So you gotta unplug that. So that's why part of it that it wasn't coming out. One of the reasons. So I already unplugged it. To unplug those connectors is kind of a little tricky. So this is what you do. You gotta get something real small, like a flathead screwdriver. So you stick it through here. This won't let me know. But you make it come out on the other side. Wait a minute. Try to do this with the other hand. So this is what you gotta do. You stick something, make it come through the other side, and that's it. You heard a click, and you can pull it off. Okay, I'll do it again. Stick something here, right there, and you can pull it off. Alright, so you gotta do that to the one down there. It's on the bottom. So I already did it. So now I should be able to just push it away right there. Now I will fight with it a little bit. Take it out completely. You're probably gonna have to lift that bar right there. There's a metal coolant go through that line. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna force it up a little bit so I can have more room, so I can bring that down. Just grab it right here. I'm probably gonna need two hands for these, of course. So bear with me. I need my two hands. Well, believe it or not, it's all the way down there. Now the sensor that I told you that it looked like the coolant temperature sensor, that thing has a ground behind it. So right now it's hanging on that wire right now. I gotta remove it in order to get it free, and then I'll explain to you how I got it out. Alright, and here is that sensor. So it has a ground right behind get this light right there. See, that has a ground right behind the screw. I tried pulling it from here, but it wouldn't release, so I didn't want to break it. And that is not an oil cooler. That is a oil pressure switch, because it only has one plug. Oil pressure switch, that's what it is. All right, so I got the piece out. See right there. Let me put the oil out so I can explain better. All right, that's enough. All right, give me 1 second. All right, so like I said, this is a 2006 Passat. I'm gonna go a little bit over. This video is not a step-by-step video, but at least you're gonna know exactly what you're gonna need and what you're gonna do to be able to replace the housing right there without removing the whole intake manifold with the injectors and all that stuff. So this is, first you're gonna take off your cover and that pipe for the turbo intercooler. Now here are the tools you're gonna need. You need a big pry bar. I will get to that in a minute and I'll show you exactly why. You need a 22 millimeter for the oil pressure switch sensor, which it goes right here. 24 millimeter. You need a little flathead and real tiny flathead, a plier. This plier is to be able to squeeze the line that goes here. So you gotta open this thing to the max, and then you open. Well, I need 2 hands for that, but you squish it. You're gonna squish it and pull. You need a 10 millimeter socket. This little extension and the socket being a little bit longer work actually better than the small one, but I end up using both. The small one to remove the bolt that hold this pipe. It's like 2 bolts that hold it, 10 millimeter. That's why I use that one. Now this is the way I took out, but I'll get to that in a minute. So first, this is a L key, 6 millimeter. This is another L key. This is 5 millimeter. 5 millimeter. And this is a 7 millimeter. That's for the clamp, 7 millimeter. If you cannot get to it with a 7 millimeter, you can get it with a flathead. Okay. So the 6 millimeter is gonna be for these 4 bolts. So this thing is gonna be sitting like that, like standing up. You're gonna use your plier to remove this line right here. Coolant is gonna come out. There's coolant that goes through this line. So you gotta have a pan under because you're gonna have a mess, oil and coolant dripping down. So this is a 6mm, 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. Once you remove those 4 bolts with the 6mm, this whole thing is gonna come out. Okay. Now you're gonna use either 5mm. It's actually better if you use, the gasket right there was flat, that's why it was leaking. This one, you can try with this 5mm first, or go straight with the 10mm socket, which is a lot easier and you get more grip. So the 10mm socket, 4 bolts. Once you remove those 4 bolts, this is how they look when you move them. You remove them, they're all the same, so you can mix them up. It's not gonna matter. Now, after you remove all those, remember you're gonna have a sensor here with the 24mm. It'll be better if it's gonna have a plug. Unplug it, and then it's better if you can't unhook the ground wire. It's better if you just unbolt it up there, or you can do what I did. I drop it down and then I unbolt it from the bottom here. All right, so once you get all that done, then you're gonna get your big pry bar. This is where it comes, the tricky part. Let me get some light. Okay, I try. If you can get this line to release, see right there, I removed the clamp. I actually put some WD-40 and that thing didn't want to come out, so I didn't want to force it and break it. But if you can unhook it from there, your job would be a lot easier than mine. So you're gonna get your pry bar, okay, and you're gonna stick it right here. Okay, there is a metal thing there that look like a motor. You're gonna go right behind, one second, right behind the bar. Let's go the other way. Right there. You go right behind the bar. You're gonna push toward the car like that. As I push, the metal line, which is coolant going through that line, it actually move. See, so you use 2 hands. One, you push in. You don't have to go crazy, so just go as you need it. Don't just go all the way in and break something. So push in, and you're gonna wiggle. You're gonna wiggle that thing out. Also, there will be another line, which is this one right here standing up. There's gonna be another line, water line, coolant, which is the other end is right here. Well, it's this one on the bottom. This one right here. This is for your cooler. The bottom one is for that line. You're gonna also unhook that and get it out of your way. So you don't have to remove these. What is that, throttle body? You don't have to remove that. And also you're gonna have a lot of connectors that's gonna be on your way. So you gotta make sure you unplug all the stuff that you think is gonna be on your way. So as you can see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, like seven connector. You gotta unplug it so you can get to those bolts, and all those only 2 bolts you're gonna get from the bottom. All the rest you're gonna do it here from the top. So the 2 bottom ones here, which is that one right there and this one in there, those those you're gonna do it from the bottom. The other ones you do it from the top. Okay, so the new one, you gotta take it apart because you won't be able to fit these bolts in there. So I gotta take that apart so I can put this first and then I'll put that last. So let me do that, and I hope you can do your own. See the sealer, the seal, the gasket, completely flat right there. That's why all the leak. Alright, so to make it easier on the install, I took off the filter and I took off the cooler. So this is what it looked like now. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go on the bottom, put the oil pressure switch there, and then I'll wiggle it up there, use my pry bar to get some room, and put all the bolts back. Before you put everything back, make sure you clean the little bottom hole right there, because that thing is going to be clogged up. So make sure you clean that before you start putting everything back. The way I clean it, I took this little flathead screwdriver, I went in there and poke it, took the most I could out with this, and then I took the brake cleaner and sprayed in there, and now it's completely clean. Okay, so what I did now, I put some grease on the gasket so it doesn't be fully dry, so it can last longer. Well, putting that piece back was a lot easier than what I thought. So putting it back, I didn't have to use the pry bar I just stick my hand in here and I lift this bar a little bit. You don't have to go crazy. Since we removed the lower filter, I was able to tilt it more to slide it up there. So now it's all the way up there. I already put all the screw in. Now I just gotta put the oil cooler, connect the oil pressure switch, which is back there, right there. Then work my way back, put all the connectors back, and we're looking good. So I did everything by hand with a 10mm socket and a ratchet. Okay, so now I'm putting the oil cooler by hand. Another thing that I did is when I remove those other bolts that came with it, I'm not gonna use them. I'm gonna use the original ones, because this one, they have better grip. Unless you buy the original one, they almost strip out. When I was taking them out, see, they almost strip, because the side, I don't know, it's just not safe. So I'd rather use the original ones that are really in good shapes. So if yours are the same, I recommend using the original ones so you don't have no problem. Alright, so when you do this type of job, you gotta change your oil. And because when you take that thing off, all the coolant is gonna go inside the engine. So a lot of coolant is gonna come out here when you take the drain plug off. So just make sure you don't put everything back and start the car. You gotta drain the oil. There's gonna be a lot of coolant inside the engine. So drain your oil, add new oil, new coolant, and then turn it on. So here you can see the new oil filter housing up there. So now I'm just gonna drain the oil, add new oil, new coolant, and turn it on. But like I said, a lot of coolant came out. Was you know, not like when the oil and water mixed together that look like milky. No, this one was just green, pure green coolant. So I know that coolant came from the, when I got the piece loose, all the coolant went inside the engine, which is normal. That's how they build it. If you want to prevent that, then make sure you drain your coolant first before you remove that part, so the oil doesn't go inside the engine. The coolant doesn't go inside the engine. Alright, so I also changed the transmission oil, the engine oil, and I add some coolant. So now I'm going to turn it on. I forgot to mention, but make sure you unplug the negative battery before doing this work. Okay, so every time you do your transmission oil, you gotta go through all the gears. To make sure all the oil goes through the whole transmission. Alright, so now I'm gonna turn it off and go check for any leaks. Because if I keep it on, it's gonna be too loud. So I just want to make sure this thing is not like dripping oil crazy. So as long as the floor look dry, we're good. Alright, so there you have it. Actually, and this is I think earlier I said 1.8. This is a 2.0 turbo Passat. Let me see if I can see the back. Right there, 2.0. So if I said 1.8, my mistake. It's a 2.0. So there you have it. Please subscribe, like, and share, and I'll see you in the next one.